All right, welcome back. I am Fiddlin Jonny, and this is my fiddle channel, and I do the occasional magic review. So that song is Will the Circle Be Unbroken? Such a great tune. When things get back to normal, I'll bring in the full band and all the sections, and maybe even sing some of that. It's such a wonderful, fun tune. But until then, you're gonna get a magic review today. So I'm gonna review Decide today, which is one I was so pleasantly surprised by. So you're gonna wanna hear what the ins and outs are, so stick around and we'll get right into it. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am so glad that you're here. If it's your first time here, make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe and check out some of the older videos. I hope you really like them. I want to do reviews that are helpful for you if you're deciding what to purchase. So let's go ahead and get into Decide today. I'm going to be really honest here. When I saw Decide initially, the trailer, I was just like, oh, that is not for me. It didn't interest me at all, mostly because there's a discrepancy when you're watching the video. And so I was sort of like, not interested. It's too obvious. And then I decided, let's go ahead and order it. It seems to be a pretty popular effect. So I went ahead and ordered it, and man, was I surprised. I liked this a lot more than I initially gave it credit for. Now there's still a discrepancy, but I realized that the magician sees the discrepancy, the layperson does not see the discrepancy. I really liked the effect a lot, and I liked the method that is used here. So yeah, so I really like it. All right, let's do a quick demo of Decide. You're going to go ahead and pull your cards out of your case. I've got one card left. You're going to go ahead, and I have a prediction card in blue. We're going to leave that in full and plain sight the entire time. You can go ahead and take a look at all the cards. They are completely different throughout the entire deck. You can see that we're working here with a red bicycle back deck of cards. I'm going to go ahead and for the spectator, go ahead and deal down. Keep that in sight there. Deal down. And eventually my spectator will go ahead and say stop. And I can go as far into this as I want. But let's say they stop here. If they say stop here, I'm halfway through. They can go ahead and stop there, here, or here. It doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and for fun, take the Ace of Clubs as our card that has been chosen. So you're just going to go ahead and you're going to grab out of the box their chosen card. You can go ahead and show you haven't got any extra cards in the actual card box. I think you can see that. And then you go ahead. The Ace of Clubs is the card that they had stopped on with the red back, but your blue back, which has been in plain sight the entire time, also is the Ace of Clubs. So that's Decide by Webb. You can go ahead and have your spectator. They can stop at any card, and each time it will match the prediction card that has been put into the box. Really cool. I think the cards are great. What you're getting, let's actually sort of now, let's get into the review itself. So the effect is chosen card will match the prediction that has been placed since the beginning of the effect into your tuck case. So it's a classic. Pick a card. I know what card you're going to pick. So you can decide how you want to perform that style of an effect. So what do you get? You're going to get a deck of red bicycle backed card, United States Playing Card Company. They really are USPC. But the deck is gimmicked, and your tuck case is gimmicked as well. You might have already sort of figured out that that's the case. They are custom made for you, so they've clearly taken the time. Chris has done a nice job of putting these materials together for you, and they're great. So you're also going to get a streaming video, and the streaming video is what, like 41 minutes in length. And in that 41 minutes, you're going to get the instruction of how to perform the effect. You're also going to get a couple of bonus routines, which are not advertised anywhere, but there's a couple of additional bonus routines and ideas to play with, which I actually thought were significant. They weren't sort of like at the end of a video where they're noodling around and talk about, oh, you might be able to do this and might be able to do that. I thought these were actually good routines that are added. And let's see, so you're also going to get in those instructions how to repair your gimmick. Or if you wanted to make the gimmick from scratch, you can make the gimmick from scratch. But this comes all ready to go. There's nothing you need to do. But if it did break over time, which it will, that you can rebuild it. And it already contains all the materials that you would already have if you've ever put together any gimmicks. So let's talk about how the instructions are. The instructions are really good. The nice thing that Chris Webb does on this is that he's really detailed. And I really, really appreciate that. I don't like instructions where they assume that the purchaser already knows some of these things. I think for anyone who's putting out magic today is that you will have a gamut of folks who are going to be from beginners to advanced folks. So I think, you know what, for someone who's more advanced, you've been doing it forever, you don't need to go into great detail. But for someone who's new, they need the detail and the nuance of performance. And I really appreciate that Chris did that. And I think more folks should do that on their instructional videos. So it's a straight on camera, probably shot with his phone from his living room. The quality of the video is really good. I do have a serious complaint, and that is the audio. The audio is mixed really, really low, and I had to put my headphones on full blast all the way up in order to hear it, and I did the same thing when I was running it through my computer speakers. I had to turn it all the way up, a little bit difficult to hear, but it's not so horrible that you can't understand the instructions, and the instructions are done in English. I think Chris has a great presentation style. He's clearly very nice, affable in his presentation, and I had mentioned that he's great in his details. He adds also, like, if you have questions, you can just reach out to him directly. I really appreciate creators who have the space to be able to do that. So the instructions are just fine. The camera looks great. It's shot clearly so you can see exactly what you need to. When you need to have a close-up in on the hands, there's a close-up on that as well. Let's talk about the gimmick and how good is the gimmick. I think the gimmick's fine. It's, you know, it's bike back cards, as you can see here, and they're gimmicked, but your spectator is never going to notice that. Your tuck case is gimmicked as well. They will never see what's gimmicked here. They won't notice it. And some of the great things is, like, you can really show your tuck case is empty after you're done with the performance. So the gimmicks are good. But let's face it, because they are a tuck case, we all know that our tuck case will eventually get worn out. So you may need to rebuild your tuck case gimmick, and your cards just get old after a while, and you can go ahead and rebuild and make a fresh new gimmick with just a new pack of cards in order to do this. On the instructions, he provides the exact materials that he uses and links to be able to order them on Amazon. So there's no guesswork for you in terms of, did I purchase the right product? He's done all of that for you. He also provides a link in the instructions to a special page that he has where if you needed to download a PDF to make sure that you've got the sizes of things done just right. So I really appreciate it. Again, detail on a bunch of different levels that Chris Webb has done on this effect. So I think the gimmick is good quality and made well, and they're clearly Chris has handmade them. I will be using this card case, carrying the deck in this just to make sure that they're not getting crushed or smashed, that sort of a thing, when I carry them around, probably like in my case that I would carry to a gig. So let's talk about what is the skill level. So this is definitely, it's a beginner skill level. You could start performing this right away because it's ready out of the box. But I would say if you're newer into magic, that this is probably ideal for the person who is, you've been doing magic for a while now, you're starting to feel pretty good and more confident, you've got all of your classic invisible decks that you've used, and not Omni deck, but all your typical sort of beginner magic stuff, and you're ready to try something a little bit, it would be a solid performance piece. I think this is really good for you. Still beginner, but it brings you up to your next level. And with that said, if you are a professional performer, I think this is a really solid effect and something that should be considered. Despite how easy it is, you do need to make sure that you practice. There are elements with this deck that you need to make sure that your orientation is correct every time, how you're putting your cards into your case. So there are directional issues that you need to make sure that you are paying attention to, and you probably want to, before you use it every single time, want to make sure that it is set up the way that you want to have it set up. But with that said, it is instant reset. You can do it immediately right away and have a different card chosen the next time. So I really, really like that aspect of it. So beginner level, but you should always practice before you really go out. So that obviously brings me into what are some of the pros. It's easy to perform. It's a powerful effect. Detailed teaching. The gimmick is a solid gimmick. It's great. I don't have any issues there. This routine is structured really well. A lot of times folks who release magic tricks, the effect's pretty good, but they don't have a solid routine for it. And it shows me that it's not a worker because they're not really using it. They're just creating these effects to be released. The nice thing, Chris has clearly performed this many, many times and is able to walk through a routine that is a really good professional routine. I love the method on this. It's just clever. And I know that's a word I use a lot for methods and gimmicks I like, but it's a clever method. So I really like that. So I had already mentioned it provides all the details for rebuilding or making a brand new one with links to where to purchase what you might need. But if you're already a magician, you have all those things. Let's talk about what are some of the cons. It is a one-trick pony. This deck I would wrangle it in and then wrangle it out once I'm done because I'm only going to use it for one effect. So that is a downside and something for you to consider. The biggest thing that I really disliked in this, and I mentioned at the beginning, was the trailer, and there is a discrepancy in terms of a visual during the effect. And I realize that if you're trying to do a magician fooler, they will notice the discrepancy. But your layperson is never really going to do it. The nice thing that Chris also, he addresses it head on and provides additional handlings so that you don't have that discrepancy. I probably in the end won't use those handlings, but I appreciate that he acknowledges it, points it out, and gives you an alternate handling for that. So another con is that the orientation piece of the cards, you really do have to pay attention to that. And I know from just practicing a number of times that I needed to really pay attention to that detail to make sure that I had that right. Another con I think is it's just another card prediction effect. For us magicians, boy, do we love to pick a card, and I knew you were going to pick that card, and it is such an old trope in magic. So if you already do one of those routines and you don't want to add another one, then maybe not. Again, I still love the method on this, and I do love the routine, but it is a pick a card prediction type of an effect. All right, that's it. Are there any angle issues or no angle issues? You can perform this from any side. You can do it 360 if you were in a 360 type of scenario with this, but you can't perform it surrounded. There's no angle issues. I think the folks who are going to like this are folks who like to do close-up card magic. If you're a close-up card magician, ideal for you. A really great routine and effect in that regard. All right, so what does it cost? In the United States, I've seen it ranging from $26.95 up to $35. I think from a cost perspective, I'd pay on the high end for that, $35. I didn't, but I would, because it has created for me this method I like, and I can probably create some other of my own effects using some of the method here. So I really liked it for that. So I think the price is really good, and the amount of time it took to build the gimmick at $35 for you to purchase is really amazing. So there can't be a lot of profit in it based upon the amount of time it takes to build that gimmick. So that's what I thought about Decide. I'm going to be honest, as you can obviously tell, I really liked Decide. I'm glad that I decided to get it because I was not going to purchase this. So anyway, something, if it looks like something that you like, something really well worth considering. All right, thank you for being here. I've got a couple of new effects I'm going to be reviewing this week. I've got Picture by Julio Montoro, Gentleman's Magic. I'm going to review a little bit later this week. And I've got the $1 Mystery by Chris Funk has arrived as well, and I'm going to be reviewing that. So, and I've got other things coming up soon, so keep an eye out for those if those are things that interest you. Going back to Decide, I know that some places are already sold out of Decide, but keep an eye out for it because I know it's at multiple online magic shops, at some brick and mortar retailers, and is expected, I believe, to get restocked soon. So don't be discouraged. You should be able to find it out there. All right, as always, I really appreciate everyone watching. Check out some of the other videos. It'd be great if you subscribed. It really helps. And I love it when you hit the like button. Please hit the like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithms to make sure that review channels get recommended for folks. All right, thank you for being here. I'm Fiddlin Jonny, and remember to keep fiddling around with your magic. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.